What's up, y'all? Uh, James and Mary here. Welcome back to the Purposeful Marketing Podcast, marketing with a purpose for the everyday practitioner. Today is, I think, our first episode since Mary hit her 90 days at My Customers as a head of marketing. So, kind of a celebratory episode. Regardless of, how arbitrary 90 days might seem as like a marker. It seems like such a big marker. It's how everyone talks about starting at a new job, especially in marketing. I guess a good starting place is, Mary, what were you thinking what were you thinking that this conversation would be like 90 days ago? If you were like, what are my expectations for when I'm looking back at, like, where do I want to be in 90 days? What do I want to have achieved, learned, forgotten, etc. Go for it.
Yeah. So first 90 days, my biggest priorities were, what do I need to keep? What do I need to kill? And what do I need to start doing? So I'll kind of go through that at like a high level, and then we can talk like more tactically. So what do I need to keep? So that's doing kind of an analysis of all of our marketing resources that we're using right now. So that could be, the website, it could be social media assets, vendors we're using or agencies, how we're going to market. So analyzing what I need to keep and kill there. I got really lucky, and I kind of knew this going in, which is a cheat code if you can do this before you decide to take on a leadership role at an organization. And that is, make sure they have a CRM. They had a really healthy CRM instance. It's linked to the website. They had everything running really smoothly there. So I was able to do that analysis pretty easily. So I knew what I wanted to keep within 90 days, knew what I wanted to kill within 90 days, and then knew what I wanted to start doing. So the real difficult part is like actually doing it. So the analysis is easy. It's fun. For me anyways, I like the data. I like the analysis. I like that part of it. I even like the building a foundation. So figuring out who our customer is, listening to a lot of calls. That was super fun. I love the, building a positioning, segmentation, targeting, and messaging strategy based on what I know about the product and the customers. So the hard part for me was like actually doing it. So once I do all that really fun stuff, what do I want to keep? What do I want to kill? I build the foundation. Now I actually have to like do stuff. So high level, that's what I my goals were within 90 days.
Okay. So, and you succeeded in achieving those goals, I'm assuming.
Yep.
So I guess what are you killing?
Yeah, that's a good question. So killed a couple things. The blog was one of them. So we had an agency doing the blog, and we had a blog strategy. That blog strategy was built on high volume keywords. So just searching for, any high volume keyword related to something that we do. That might have been sales, outside sales, CRMs, sales enablement software, think that whole sphere. And then they would just attack high volume keywords and write blog articles for like $500, which, right. James and I know how good those probably were. Yeah.
That's like the easiest $5 to grift off of someone.
For sure. Yes. And the blogs kind of proved that out.
Yeah. So killing the blog, anything else that you're killing?
Let's see, what else did we killed a lot of just like general waste. Like we had a couple of agencies that were in almost like what I would call like the pipeline. Like a couple of people were interviewing them to start doing stuff like maybe an email nurture sequence or cleaning up our HubSpot instance. And I was like, I think that there's just better places to spend our money. So that was another place where I was like, all right, probably don't need stuff there.
Okay. Cool. I know that when we talked about, you getting the new job, probably around 90 days ago.
Yeah.
you were kind of like, okay, I set my own 30, 60, 90 in this instance. Like I dictated what my own onboarding would look like, how I would start here. Um, is there, because we talked last week about how you learn so much by going to new places, right? Well, that's like a different tone than I'm going to this new place to do things the way that I do things. This is
Yeah.
how I do things. So, like, I guess has there been a give and take where you're like, okay, my plan was this because here's what I expected. But now that I'm here, I'm learning to think about this thing differently. Now that I'm looking at it inside your organization, with your set of problems or whatever, is there anything that you're like really thinking about differently than if you would have told us 90 days ago? I bet that I'm gonna get in there, and I haven't explicitly told them that I'm killing paid search, but I sure as hell think that I'm gonna kill it. Like, is there
Yeah.
anything like that you're learning?
Oh my gosh, yes. So James, you totally nailed it. Like I had, a playbook. I'd seen it work really well at Gorilla 76 for a ton of clients. So I knew really generally the outline I wanted to do. So wanted to get like number one, like I've already said, customer research, build the messaging strategy, create a killer narrative, like make sure we just know who we are, who we serve, and how we help them. So that was like, once I had that, I was like, all right, let's do this. I want Google ads. I want paid LinkedIn. I want paid Facebook. You run the kind of demand gen playbook, and Google ads completely flopped. Like I ran it like to the T, like only bid on not high volume, sorry, high intent, long tail keywords based on category. Put all my negative keywords in there. I had a message match landing page. All my ad creative had an excellent rating from Google. I had a small keyword list that I was bidding on. And it was just, after 60 days, was like just totally failing. Like I was just burning cash. And when it's your budget on the line and you have all of this list of things that you really want to get done, but you need the Google ads, for instance, to work, otherwise you can't get this list done, then it makes it really easy to say, all right, F Google ads, like I'm out of here. I have other things I want to do.
Right. Yeah. I guess because do you think that is kind of do you think that there's anything about the playbook that you had in your head? You're on LinkedIn like telling people here's the playbook, and that's like the funny thing about going into a new job is like, okay, like if these folks think they're buying the playbook when they're hiring you, I wonder if they understand that if they had just DM'd you on LinkedIn and said, okay, is this the playbook? I'm going to run it and I'll tell you how it goes. And you probably would have been like, whoa, easy there. Like, you should think about it before, like, does it actually apply? I guess I'm curious, like, do you think that you're starting to see anything that makes you rethink the playbook that's at least like in your head, or like your high level thoughts about what works in marketing? Or have you mostly just been seeing, in your opinion, some things that are different about like how these industries work, et cetera?
Yeah, I think if I had to like go back, like to your point, yeah, the playbook is definitely shifted, I would say. But I think the overarching playbook is still the same. And that's listen to your customers, figure out how your product fits into their day and what problems it solves, and then create content that customer cares about and then put it in the places where they spend time. That's the playbook, okay? But I have definitely realized like completely shifting industries from, B2B manufacturing to B2B enterprise SaaS is like that playbook can look real different. And we're
Right.
kind of serving the same base. Like in a lot of our ads and copy and content, we're serving manufacturers. And that's who we were talking to at Gorilla. But the way that we do it is just so different here because it's just not working the same.
Right. I wonder, I guess a good place to go is like, okay, you listen to your customers. How many conversations with customers do you think you either listened to or conducted yourself?
Yeah, so in the beginning, I spent my first week only listening to customer calls and then customer onboarding sessions and talking to a few customers. So I probably listened to like 15 or 20 before I had like all of a sudden, trends start surfacing. I'm starting to hear the same things over and over. Um, but I still listen to customer calls at least once a week. So staying just close and like revalidating my messaging strategy. Like, are the same problems still getting talked about? Are they still coming up? Are we talking to the right people? Um, yeah, it's been, I think the more interesting part too has been, when I was at the agency, like we'd always be like, you just have to be patient. Like, this is what we expect as far as a timeline. Like, leads will come in here, pipeline here, revenue here. But when it's like you on the line, like you're doing it and you're in charge of, reporting back to your CEO or to a board, you're just like, you really are that person who's like refreshing the reports. Like, come on, it's got to be coming in faster than that. So I have a lot more, I think, empathy for our former clients at Gorilla.
Yeah. I is there anything, I guess, from that perspective, what can an agency do for you? Like what could someone do for you to make you feel more patient? Like what would you need to step away from your computer and not hit, whatever the refresh keystroke is, command R or whatever.
Yep.
What would it take? Like, what is it, just you're not gonna ever stop doing that because that's your personality? Or because presumably, like, at some point, you know, you have to get comfortable enough with what's happening because you can't make the next result that happens right now. You've
Yeah.
already done the thing that produces that. Your results today are not made by what you're doing right now looking at the screen.
Yeah.
So, what does someone need to do who's like trying to inspire patience in the head of marketing? What
Yeah.
does it take?
Okay, that's such a good question. I've never thought about this, but something you said during that question, like, just hit the aha moment. And it would be surfacing qualitative insights I'm missing. So, F the numbers, like we just talked about. I can hit refresh on the numbers all day. They're not going to change. But if you can, find a Reddit thread where someone is like, dude, Matt, my customers is crushing it on LinkedIn right now. Or you can find a YouTube comment, somebody on LinkedIn, like an email, how did you hear about us? And you're just like sending me a screenshot. If you can surface like qualitative insights that say, here's the exact person we're targeting right now, and they're saying really great things about what we're doing in marketing, it would be like, that's all I needed to see. That's like the absolute best.
Right. You need validation.
Yes, 100%.
So, like, what I need to do then, I can do this for you. And maybe I'll do it at a cost.
Yeah,
Is
there you go.
I can make a bunch of Reddit accounts and I can comment all over the place on Reddit. God damn, Mary Keogh at Map My Customers is just dominating LinkedIn advertising right now. Check these ads out. I can make up all kinds of like maybe true, maybe bullshit reasons why they're just technically great ads. And then you'll have plenty of ammo, on a tough day,
Yeah.
hitting refresh.
Yeah, another good one that, this is another good one now that we're talking about it. If you can surface qualitative insights, maybe not even about Map My Customers, but about like our general strategic narrative. Like, so we're talking about Reddit, so it's popping up in my mind. Like, I follow Reddit, the thread sales. So it's just a bunch of people in sales talking about sales stuff.
Yep.
And if you can show me some like really cool sub thread in there where it's like, oh my gosh, they're talking about how a CRM fits into their day to day, or how much they hate doing discovery research. Like anything that's going to help me maybe create better content or create better messaging, like that would be really cool too.
Yeah. I wonder about, you know, I guess this is like a totally different question, but a big thing that happens when you like you did the move from agency to in-house. So we could go that direction. But you also did the move from like Gorilla is a very niched down agency, like pretty much industrial. Like, I mean, there's probably not, I don't know of another agency that is so like 100% industrial. So you existed in one ecosystem and now you are in a different one. Um, is there like, is there like anything just totally, it doesn't even need to be like significant or meaningful, something just so off the wall different where you're like, I can't even use like these terms that I'm using don't even apply, or like everyone in this space thinks that you call X Y. Like, is there anything like that that you're just like, this is just weird, like bizarro world situation?
For sure. So biggest thing coming out of that, like we've talked about this on the podcast too, and like, you know, just one-on-one, James, is like we love manufacturing because like they don't always necessarily care about the numbers. Like it's awesome, and when we can track pipeline and revenue, they're like really happy about it. But some of them also just like want to be a thought leader. They want their website to look better. They want a better customer experience. They want to be closer to their customer. You know, they have like all these really cool qualitative things that they want marketing to do. Not necessarily true in the startup world. The startup world it is all about MRR, monthly recurring revenue, ARR, annual recurring revenue, net retention. So, are we actually retaining the customers that we're getting? So, manufacturing, you're selling a physical product. So, once it's shipped out the door, yeah, you know, you might have a couple customer success folks fielding troubleshooting questions, but that's also likely going to like an engineer or something like that. But here it's like you have dedicated customer success reps who are like checking in on you and making sure you're going to keep using the product so you don't churn in 6 to 12 months. So
Right.
I think that is the most interesting. And the most like the biggest like, oh wow, there's like all these like weird acronyms being thrown at you.
Yeah, I have the feeling that, you know, folks associate that with like greater sophistication of a marketing department. And that might be true, you know, but I I would push back on the notion that that is necessarily better. Um, and like
100%.
I think that some of Gorilla's best clients are the ones where it doesn't and are most successful, where the program works so well and these people are just rolling in it. They don't care as much. Like it's just not important to them. And I think that part of why that is they have a strong understanding of the fact that the product is mostly what's killing. Like, I mean, it's you're selling something. We're not just marketing, like we're not trapping people into buying something that isn't real. We're selling like a real thing, and that real thing is what's kicking ass the most when sales are really good. Like it's the product, and like I think that there's an amount that a lot of the folks that don't give as much of a heck about the numbers are the same folks that care so much about our is my marketing agency actually representing who we are? Does this feel like us? Am I proud of the way that we're talking about ourselves? And they just like care more deeply about the content than they care about the numbers. And it's like, well, obviously that works. Like that is just like more, it's like cleaner, it's pure, it's like more like primal in the best way of primal. It's like we like let's not like I don't know, let's not like overcomplicate this thing and make it impossible for us to tell what is or isn't working. Um, like the question should be, are the things we say resonating with our audience? Yes or no? And it becomes really easy to answer that question and make decisions based on it when you're not drowning in, conversations about ARR, and it just ends up being, I think, working really well without being sophisticated. Um, so yeah, I feel a little bit bad for you, um, but
Yeah, I'm trying to make the shift here if it makes a difference. Like, because the SaaS world is experiencing a huge like gut check right now. Like, people just aren't buying as many SaaS solutions because they're afraid of the potential economic downturn coming later this year. So you kind of like hit on a really important thing, and that is I'm trying to make the shift like internally, like content matters, like our internal culture matters, what we're saying to the world matters, and how we're creating a brand and not necessarily bringing in pipeline is going to matter a lot more long term. So, yeah, I totally agree with you. Like, there's something pure and almost better about the way that manufacturers conceptualize marketing.
I you know I think that a big part of why that exists is that none of them really like marketing as much as the other folks. I think that there's an amount that like, man, this shit is just not that complicated. It's just not like um, I was interviewing someone last week, and they mentioned that they were it's just like someone feeling like I've got this skill set and it will translate to marketing roles like writing and researching, and like I feel like that's a space where I can translate this skill set. So I'm like taking like an intro to marketing course um, at school, and I was like, that's very cool. I think a lot, and she's like, I don't know if I'll want to like get a marketing degree or anything. I'm like, probably every person that I work with would tell you, please don't get one. Um, and
I will absolutely say, do not do it. Do not get a marketing degree.
I was like, they would probably say that it's really smart to take the intro course, and that like the principles and the language and just being able to look at someone else talking about marketing and either understand them or know that when you don't understand them, it's because they don't make any sense. Like that is as valuable as you need. That's as much value as you need to get out of the education system around marketing. Like the stuff is not what they're going to teach you. It's not happening. It's not real. What's really happening is far simpler than that. I feel like that's the most frustrating thing about like watching marketers talk to each other, is they're just talking about stuff that isn't real.
I love that actually, because like I've honestly, James, been struggling even on LinkedIn lately to like write content, because I'm like, sometimes I just don't even want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah. I mean, especially on LinkedIn, it's like that's the dead horse. The dead horse of LinkedIn is marketing. I mean, that's like most of the people that are actually active are involved in some way, shape, or form with marketing or sales. But I guess shifting back, what is what's next? Like, you hit 90 days, you did all the things you wanted to do. what's like coming out of choosing what to keep or kill. You now have to do the work. What is like steps 1 and 2?
Yep. So definitely like actually doing the work. So I was talking to James about this maybe a couple weeks ago. Is like, hey, along with the downturn in SaaS, like we're also reducing resources. So like, I'm having to do a lot of the stuff myself. I write my own website copy, I write our blogs, I do our podcast. So it's like actually doing the frickin' work is a huge part of what I'm doing next and continuing. And then honestly, just being like super, like making sure I'm giving campaigns and content enough time to produce results, but then trying to like step outside myself and like make sure I'm not being too biased and keeping stuff that maybe is taking me a long time or I really enjoy doing, but actually isn't producing results. Like, unfortunately, I also have to look at it through a business lens too. So that's kind of my next steps is like doing the frickin' work and making sure the frickin' work is actually frickin' working.
Yeah. And it might be harder, or it might be easier. Maybe you'll find that you're like, oh gosh, like maybe my first hire will be a new head of marketing, and I'll just be the person that does the freaking work instead of.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
I totally thought about that. I'm like, maybe I don't want to like, if I have to like make a hire, maybe I'll just hire like a CMO, someone above me.
yeah, exactly. No, that's cool. I guess maybe like a good wrap would be like, what what do people just not know about what it's like to be a head of marketing, or you know somewhat like director of marketing? I don't, whatever, insert job title here. What do people that haven't done it before, that are just practicing, just regular practitioners, individual contributors, what do you know now that they would never know, and maybe they wouldn't even believe you if you just told them, but like what will someone learn in the first 90 days?
Yeah, like everything you do is on you. So, what a practitioner might have is like somebody above them, or they might be a part of a larger company. So, if it doesn't work, it's kind of okay. Like, it's like, okay, it didn't work. Like, maybe you can keep, like, I have to be like constantly evaluating what I'm doing because if something doesn't work and we're wasting resources on it, it's like I'm on the line. Like it's me. My not probably my career. I don't think I would get like fired over anything unless it just like completely tanked. But it's like I have to answer those hard questions. Like why are we still doing Google ads if it's not producing any results?
Do you like that?
Yeah, I do now. It was really hard for me because I am um, like a typical oldest child, kind of a know-it-all, kind of a bossy pants. So when I wouldn't have the answers, that was really hard for me at first because I like having the answers to questions. So I really had to embrace that. I don't know, but I'll find out. So once you embrace that and go and actually find out why something isn't working or whatever question your CEO might have for you, it gets a lot easier.
Nice. Well, at what point do we stop doing like 90-day check-ins on your new job? I guess
Yeah.
because like we could like book another episode like this for like 90 days from now, but well, I guess we'll have to talk offline about when is it not a new job anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
When
question.
can we stop talking about it? Really?
Maybe like
Uh,
a year.
well, I have nothing else to add.
Awesome. This was an awesome conversation. I liked it.
Good. Yeah. Hopefully, listeners, you all enjoyed it. Yeah. Let us know if you hated it. Let us know if you liked it. Yeah. We'll see y'all in a week. Peace.